Hi everybody, welcome to 2OG's Hook and Stitching Island Style. I'm Antoinette and I am going to be chit-chatting with you today. Thank you to all the returning subscribers, thank you to new subscribers, and anybody tuning in for the first time. Hope you like what you see. If you do and you want to subscribe, have at it. Just click that little hitchhiker button. This is a channel about knitting, crocheting, yarn, giveaways, tutorials, life living on an island in Canada in the Bay of Fundy, informational videos, all kinds of information, sometimes just chit-chatting, sometimes getting silly. I keep trying to evolve the channel into some new ideas, and I get ideas from subbies, and feel free to put your thoughts into the comments below. Today's video is going to be finished object, works in progress, some test patterns I'm doing, some future patterns that are going to be done, and whatever else while we're in the process of having this little chat I think of. The first thing I'm going to show you is a finished object. Long time coming, but it is finished. I have posted pictures on Facebook and Instagram of it. It is the notorious Fundy Bay Shawl by Maritime Family Fibers, done in Briggs & Little, Fundy Fog. It is blocked. Ends are woven in and the fringe is on. So, whoops, and I kicked the camera. Sorry about that. Here it is. I'm going to put it on so you can see. I'm going to have to, until I get a better setup for trying to figure out this zooming and stuff, the new webcam, I did a video earlier on it, and I haven't really decided if I'm going to continue to use it. Depends on how that video comes up. So I'm just going to back you up a little bit here, and I'm going to back up. You can see how long it is. Now it can be a shawl, a wrap, it can be a scarf, but this is finally finished. And I'll back up here and I'll show you the close-up of the, oh, you can see the work. When I blocked it, it really opened everything up. And this is how it came out. And I did put the fringe on. Now the only thing I did different than the pattern, in the pattern you have the option to crochet ends on, on each end of the wrap, and they were using the granite stitch or the waistcoat stitch. I don't know how to do that, but I was looking through my book and I found this called the sprig stitch, and this is the sprig stitch. I thought it went well with the pattern, plus also with the fringe I thought it went well, so I used the sprig stitch, and I got out of my crochet Bible, crochet stitch Bible. But that is, it's finally finished. Of course, as you finish one, you start another, right? So I'm just going to fold this up here. It is long. The finished measurements were 80.5 inches long by 14 inches wide, and that is without the fringe. With the fringe, it's 91.5 inches. So, and it's very warm. And how this is, like I said, 100%. This is the Heritage Rustic Wool. I have Woolite Lavender Wool Wash, and I fill the sink up with a warm, cool to warm water, tepid, and I pour a capful into the water, and I place the shawl. Now I don't sew my ends until after I soak it and block it, and I soak it a couple hours. Sometimes I'll soak it overnight, depending how much softer I want it to get. And this is, it's not bad. I mean, I could soak it again, and you know, if I want to soak it again, but it's fine. And then I take it out and I just wring it, like, you don't twist it, you just squeeze it, roll it in a towel, and make sure you rinse it real good. And then I put it on the blocking boards and pin it out. Now, I used my lace blocking wires on this. It made for very nice straight edges when I did it, because these have like a scallop going down the edge, as you can see. So, what I did for the fringe was I cut all my fringe. I actually have some extra in there that, actually I'll show you, because you can see the difference in the yarn. Hold on a minute. I want to show you what I mean when you hear people talk about the yarn blooming. Okay, this is the Briggs & Little, right straight from the hank. Okay, that's straight from the hank. It's all balled up. You know, I have it caked up. Now this is after it has been soaked. Okay, so if you take them and you put them, so I can get this here, side by side, do you see how it blooms? You can see how good you can see that. Plus softening, but the yarn itself kind of puffs up. And all I did was cut my fringe and I tied it like you would a hank on each end. I just laid it in the water. Same time I soaked the shawl. Took it out. You squeeze like this. Then I put it in a towel. I roll it, put it on the floor, and stomp on it to get the excess water out. Now these I just hung on a hanger and hung them outside. And then of course my shawl I pinned out on my blocking mats. It took about 3 days for it to dry. The fringe dried a lot quicker. But I brought it inside after a day because we were getting heavy dews, and the idea was to get it to dry. So that is the infamous Fundy Bay Shawl finally done. And I couldn't be more pleased with how it came out. I am really pleased at how that came out. I think I actually said on Facebook, yay me. So, but that's my finished object. I had a few more finished objects, but I gave them to Barb for her birthday. I had done a bunch of head scrunchies for her, and I did her a messy bun hat. So I gave that to her. Birthday was last Wednesday, so I gave them to her for her birthday. Now, works in progress. If you remember, I had showed you a test pattern, 2 test patterns that I was doing. I know I said I was going to take a break. The one test pattern is the hug sweater that's not due till December 15th. And the other one was the Auckland sweater, which I wasn't going to do, but it's a number 6 super bulky, and I was down to doing the last sleeve. I didn't like how it came out. Messaged the designer and said, I hate it. I tore it out and I started it over again. I'm doing it in Line Brand Thick and Quick Metallic. So I am on the yoke. Okay, I'm increasing now for the raglan. So this will go pretty quick once I just didn't like it. Somewhere along the line, my gauge got messed up. So I switched my needles because I was using my knit picks. Okay, these are US 19 or 15 millimeter. Okay, these are 15 millimeter too, but do you see the difference in the needle size? I think these are a little smaller. I got gauge, and this is coming out a little bit of a snugger stitch. So I think this fit, because when I put it on, it was huge, and I'm doing the large size. And it's like I am doing some color blocking with it, only because I didn't have enough of one color to do the whole sweater in one color. So I had these two colors left of my super bulky that I had more than 2 or 3 skeins, because it's only like 94 yards per skein. So I had 10 skeins total, 5 of each. This is I think that was, I forget what this was. Oh, this was called Gemstone, and this is called, the blue is called Mystical. It's got a thin silver right to it. So I'm working on that. That should be done by next video, next week. I should have this, because I did the whole yoke and body. It was done in a day and a half. So I will be able to show you this finished. Well, most of it. I can't show you the whole thing because the pattern's not released, but we are allowed to do teases and sneak peeks. And this is by Pacific Knotco designer. So working on that one. Been doing a lot of frogging, ripping out lately. I'm telling you. Speaking of ripping out and frogging, the other test sweater I told you I was doing. Yes, I've been on a sweater kick, okay? I admit it. I'm on a garment kick. Was the Hug Sweater by Svetlana Shapova. I was doing it in the Stylecraft DK Peony. It was too dark a color to be that I was working with. It was just too dark. So what did I do? Frogged it. I'm doing it in Mega Ball Lilac, and I have some for the contrast color, because you don't use a lot of it. You just have, I'm using a Premier's Fable, and you want to talk about a soft yarn. This this is really soft. They use this a lot for babies, but this is a variegated. But I thought with the lilac, well, you can see that. Well, this way. And yes, I had some yarn barf, so I have it in a yarn ball right now. That is the lilac, and this is the Premier Fable, and this is Rapunzel. So I tore it out, and now this is a what they call a folded collar. They do it for cuffs. They do it for brims of hats. You knit so far. You start with a provisional cast on, and for you, those of you that don't know what a provisional cast on is, basically there's several ways of doing it. I use a crochet hook, and what you basically do is you cast on, you chain however many, a few extra chains on each end, and then you pick up and knit through the back loop on your crochet. So you have that bottom chain is your provisional cast on, rather than casting on directly to your needles, because later that enables you to rip that out and gives you live stitches. You pick those live stitches up, then you fold this in half, and you will knit both stitches together, and it gives you a folded, very squishy, very stretchy neckline. In the pattern, she gives you the options for German short rows. I've never done German short rows, and the first time I did it, I didn't do them. I'm going to watch a tutorial, and I'm going to try to do the German short rows. I did the setup with my markers for my German short rows. Stay tuned. I'll let you know how it works out. But I'm working on that too. Yes, I know. That's 2 sweaters. But wait, there's more. So let's put this aside. I gotta take straight. I pulled out the yarn. I got a big ball of yarn barf. I have put a pause on the sleeve I was working on, the Tunisian elf coat. But I'll get to it. Like I said, I switch back and forth, especially when my hands start hurting. I've been doing pretty much strictly knitting. The other cast on and start that I had, which is actually a restart. That's all I got. Like that. That's the back panel of my husband's fisherman sweater. This one here is a only do at home. Don't take it on the ferry. Don't take it out to watch TV. Don't do it anywhere. It's only in my craft room when nobody's bothering me. And I have complete concentration and quiet to do, because this is a Briggs & Little pattern. It is a paid-for pattern, but using my Knitter's Pride pattern holder, because you're going back and forth between pages. It is the classic Aran fisherman sweater. You can do a cardigan, or you can do a pullover. Hubby wants the cardigan, so I gotta do the cardigan. But if you look, do you see the cables on this? Those cables are front and back. So this is one of those patterns where you pay attention, and I have to jump between. Okay, this here is your cable pattern. It actually goes all the way down to this page here. My sticky notes, so I keep track of where I'm at, to here. So I am doing the back panel, and this enables me to jump back and forth between the patterns. So that's sweater number 3. Okay, but that's long term, like my heirloom Afghan is long term, but that in itself is 80% done as far as the blocks are concerned. Then it's just got to be sewn together. Then between all of this, I have been working on my Christmas knitting. These got some pretty strong magnets here, which means good, because you don't lose your place on your pattern. You don't lose your pattern. Nothing worse than going to do a pattern and you're missing a page, which has happened. So that is sweater number 3. Tour test. That one is for hubby, long term. If he doesn't quit losing weight, so I have to keep changing the size, make my life a little bit easier. Another work in progress. As you know, I told you I had finished my Hermione socks. So I cast on another pair of Rose City rollers, but they're in red for Christmas. So this one I'm just about ready. I'm just about to the toe decreases. I love this pattern. I just love the pattern, and I am just getting better, so I don't get those holes where you do your gusset. Where's my gut? There it is up there. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm doing this in a vintage yarn. It is called Nomada. It is from Germany. It came in a big bag of yarn that was given to me. I looked it up online. That's some expensive yarn, and I got quite a few hanks of it. And it's a nice 80-20 blend. It's great for socks. And as you can see, I got myself some needle protectors, rock, scissors, papers, because I got tired of my stitches falling off and dropping stitches. Very frustrating. And these are working with 9-inch circulars. Sometimes I do the 4-inch DPNs. So that's another work in progress. Pardon me. As I said, Christmas gifts are in between all the knitting I'm doing. I'm doing pretty much mostly knitting right now. The only crochet that I've done is I did some headbands for gifts. I showed those a couple videos ago, and the pattern I put in is free pattern. There's a cross over a headband. Talking with my daughter-in-law, they would like a blanket for Christmas. Okay, so I didn't really have any yarn enough in quantity for a blanket. Hirschner's had a special on Comfort. Red Heart Comfort. So I got enough to do a blanket with. And it's once you wash it, it softens up. So I was on the hunt for a pattern, just not a plain waffle pattern, what have you. I wanted to do something nice. So I went on the hunt, and this free crochet pattern showed up in my feed from Lion Brand, and it is called the Tree of Life Afghan. And that's what it looks like. But in the description right here, it says, click here for the knitted version. It was inspired by Nikki Epstein's original knit design. The knit pattern is a paid-for pattern. And I'll tell you why I got the knit pattern. Because I liked it better than the crochet. Will I make the crochet pattern? I may very well make it down the line. But this is the knit pattern. And you can see these are the trees. This is a tulip garden. And there's the trees. Now this has a lot of cable. These trees are consisting of cables. Okay. So I'm knitting this. Now this is a paid for pattern. But if you look at this, put them side by, well, it's hard to get these side by side. There's a tree there, and there's a tree in the crochet. They look very similar. This one is a free, and I'll put this all in the description box below. This is a free pattern. This is a paid for pattern. So I am doing the knit version. And I didn't get too far, but I got a cast on, and I'm just starting the first sequence of cables. So you can see, and I'm doing it in the it's called Latte Fleck. I thought I was going to get really creative and do the Latte Fleck, but do the trees in the teal. I got so far and said, this ain't happening. First of all, tons of ends to it. So because my daughter-in-law's color palette, we're going with the Latte Fleck. So when this blanket is finished, I think the measurements are, it's hold one second here, and I will tell you, the knitted version, the one I'm doing, is approximately 48 by 58 inches. So it's almost, you know, 5 foot long by, it's 4 foot by 5 foot long. You know, that's a nice to put on the back of the couch or on the bottom of the bed. And that's all. And knitting a blanket takes a whole lot longer than it does crocheting a blanket. That I will tell you. I've crocheted baby blankets. I've knit baby blankets. And yeah, crochet actually goes a lot faster, but it also uses more yarn. Depending on the pattern you're using, this is one of the very few times I've seen a pattern both knit and crochet that looked very similar. And it's living in one of my favorite 31 bags, my nautical bag. That's my Afghan bag. So that's all my works in progress. I am waiting on a few deliveries of some tools, new tools that I had gotten. One of the things I wanted to talk about after I got done with the finished objects and works in progress is upcoming projects. As I finish these two tests, I will be casting on some of the things. Now this is going to be a Christmas gift. I'm going to show you this. This was a free pattern for so long on Facebook, and for those of you in the States, you will recognize this. This is called Domes Around the World, the Capitol Hat, and it is based on the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. That is a must knit for me. I mean, look at that. It looks just like the Capitol building. So that's one of my future projects. Now, you all remember Regina Weiss. She's the designer of the elf coat and the Lotus Mandala duster that I've done in the past. That was a couple years ago I did that one. And you guys have seen the progress on my elf coat. Well, she did it to me again. She's come out with another coat. And yes, it's on my list. I have already ordered the faux yarn for it. It's a paid-for pattern, but I am going to show you the picture. She has been showing the pictures on Instagram. It is called the Priestess. Now it has some, it's a Tunisian crochet. It has the corset element that's in the elf coat in this one here. But this one here is done with inset diamond panels within the skirt. But it has fur-lined hood and fur-lined cuffs. And that is the Priestess. And yes, I'm going to be doing it. It's all Tunisian knit stitch. So that is on my list. That won't start until I finish my elf coat. But that is the next big project I'm doing, other than, you know, the 2 blankets. Now, I've had in queue for Christmas gifts the cape by Bag O' Day, Crystal from Bag O' Day. That is going to be a Christmas gift. The toggle buttons finally came for that, so I'll be doing that. I have the pretzel coat, which is another big project that I have set aside. And again, that's a big knit project. All of these take 2,000 plus yards of yarn. And I have a couple of news. So I've been on a sweater kick. I was on a shawl kick last year. This year it's been sweater, 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 and socks. But I have this sweater cardigan. Now this is a cable hooded crochet cardigan by Anu, and I do like it. And it's but it's crochet, and she has a tutorial on it. Her patterns are free. You can get them right from her blog. And I have got to make a couple sets of mitts to go with the hats, and a couple cowls to finish up my Christmas gifts. But that is some of my future projects that have to be done. I put this back here. This is what I call my waiting to be done slot. So that's pretty much all I have for today. I have another video that's uploading now that is about the Briggs and Little tour, and also a little bit of Happy Mail I got. I need to do some tutorials, some shout outs. I'm going to try this week because I have the house to myself. I don't have anybody. When anybody's home, it's impossible for me to get tutorials done because they're constantly interrupting me. So I'll set my card table up here in the craft room, and I can do my tutorials. Miss Bella, by the way, thank you for all the prayers and well wishes. She is doing better. She is in heart failure. That's just the way it is. But she's on medication. We had another bout with the vomiting, and I took her to the vet. She gave her some more medicine, and we're going to see how it goes. But my husband and I came to a decision, which was a difficult decision. I am all about quality of life for her. I don't want her in pain, and I want her to have a good, happy life. Not one that is nothing but trips to the vet, in pain, vomiting. That's no quality of life. So as long as we can maintain where she's at now, she'll live out her life naturally. But if she continues on the path she's been, where it's every week to the vet because of the excessive vomiting, and when I say excessive vomiting, this is lakes of vomiting. She's dehydrating, can't eat, you know, and she looks at you, and it's just, there's just help me in her eye. So, but I am optimistic, and prayers and good thoughts have been very powerful. So Miss Bella thanks you all for your prayers and well wishes. Right now she's in a good way, and we're going to keep it that way. So let's end this on a good note. I want everybody to have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Hugs, smiles, and happiness. Pass it on. Make the world a better place. Be kind to each other. Until next time. Bye for now from Deer Island.